Hello everybody, it's Lisa. I'm here to show you how to make a teepee card, and I'm also going to be using some new products from Lisa Horton Crafts, and Lisa will be on Create and Craft on Friday the 22nd of May at 9:45, where you'll see the whole new release, and the collection is all about mandalas. So today I'm going to be showing you this lovely teepee card. I did post a picture on my Facebook page for anybody that wants to see the another finished sample, and as you can see, I've used the new mandala stamps. So I'm just going to put this, just to explain how the card works. It makes into a teepee 3D card, but it actually undoes, lies flat, and it can be posted. It can fold flat for postage. Okay, so I'll just put that to one side. So first of all, start off with 3 square pieces of card. I've used card that is 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches square. Obviously you can do any size you want, just cut squares, but this makes sort of a decent size card that you can get embellishments on. If you want it any smaller, obviously make the squares smaller or make the squares larger. So once you've cut your 3 squares, then what you need to do is to score along across one of the diagonals. Do that on all 3 cards and then fold. As you can see, I've done a blue Peter again, and I've actually decorated a couple of my squares. And then the last one. There you go, like that. So I'll show you one of my decorated squares. I used to decorate the beehive stencil, or bubble wrap as some people call it, and I used one of the texture stamps from Lisa Horton. These have been on previous shows. You get like a splatter. I don't really know how to explain that one. Can you see that one? Script and another different splatter design. Really good. You don't have to match them up or anything, you just do a random pattern, but they're really effective, and most of the design team have them on the desk all the time. So I'll just decorate this panel by using my inks and a little brush. Those that have seen me do this before, there's no right or wrong, just a random design, quick as you like. I tend to like these colours. Most of you have seen me use the yellow and the pink before. You can use your distress inks, your distress oxides. I have these eyes ink inks, whichever ink is your chosen. So just a random pattern with the stencil, and then I just put my stamp on the rubber block, and I'm just gonna randomly stamp. I just love this splatter. Doesn't matter whether you ink it completely, it's just so forgiving, but it gives such a lovely effect. There you go. I'll just clean that up, otherwise I'll end up with ink everywhere. And I do have another stamp on the other side of that block. I'll just wipe my table. As you can see, I've got one of Lisa's messy mats. Brilliant, easy to clean. See what colours you're working with. So now we want to build up the card. what you do is put one of the squares make like a diagonal towards you. You'll glue on another of the squares like that, and then another of the squares like that, so you'll end up with that shape. So I'll just put some glue on. Obviously when you glue it on like that, this part is not going to be stuck to anything, so don't put any glue there. I don't think it really matters whether you put that there or that, but I prefer to put it underneath. So I'll put a little bit of glue on my card. I prefer to use wet glue. Like that. And then you'll see quite easily how the card then just folds. That one overlaps there, and there you have your Teepee card. Quite easy, simple. And what I do too, you've different ways of fastening it. If you've got any of the Velcro hook and loop, you can attach that on there. I mean, if you're giving it to somebody, you could actually put it in a box and you could actually stick that. But what I prefer to do is use ribbon. So I've got some purple ribbon, and I'm just going to cut a couple. Oops, apologies. Cut a couple of lengths of ribbon. So have a look at where your ribbon is going to go. I think around about here. So for the one that's on the fold, I use my craft knife and I just do a little slit, and then I feed the ribbon through that slit like that. I get a little piece of card. More fingers and thumbs today. And I just place that over the ribbon to catch the ribbon. Then on the opposite flap, look at where you want the ribbon. Put that like that. More glue on a little tab of card. You can use a little circular piece of card if you want, or a semicircle to completely cover the ribbon. This is just for sort of speed. But now when you fold the card together, you'll be able to tie that in a bow. I won't tie it just yet because obviously I need it to set, so I'll just put that. So that is your finished base card. If you want, I've just used one layer of card and decorated that layer with the stencil. If you want, you can obviously mat and layer each triangle. I suggest you do that before you stick it together, because then you're going to have trouble figuring out these little triangles here, or you could just leave them blank. But I think it's, you know, it's quite a sturdy card, just with one layer of card. You don't need all the mats and layers, so I'll just put that one to one side. So as I promised, I'm going to be using one of the new products that's coming on Friday to Create and Craft, and it's one of the new mandala stamps. The whole team are absolutely in love with these mandalas. There are going to be paper pads that are pre-printed that you can colour yourself using whatever medium you want, pencils, paints, inks. To go with that, there is also stencils, and there are 3, I think, stamp sets. This is the stamp set that I've been using, and this is the one that I'm going to be using in my demo. This is called Create Beautiful Things, and you could look at these mandalas and think, oh my goodness, how am I going to colour that? You know, I'm not a good colourist, I'm not light shading and all that business, but it really doesn't matter, and I'll show you that on the ones that I've done, because I haven't taken great long time on these, and they still just look as quite as pretty. You get a mandala that is like half of a large mandala. You can either use that on the edge of a card, or you can stamp it back to back and make one whole huge mandala, or you can actually, with this particular set, it's really easy to see where you can cut along and make corners with each of them. So don't think you've got to use the mandalas as they are. You know, you can cut into them, you can cut down all the different layers as much or as little as you want. You can create backgrounds with them, so they're so versatile, and they look really pretty. And some of the centres of the mandalas, you know, you could just cut that out several times, layer it up, and you've got a flower. You've also got your sentiments there as well. So what I've already done is I have stamped out, as you can see, I stamped the middle size mandala and the edge, but I've actually cropped into it to see what you know, what shape I could get. So I'm going to just stamp now the smaller mandala. I've got that here. Piece of card. And show you how wonderful they actually stamp. And I'm just going to be using Memento ink today, because I'm going to actually be using pro markers, alcohol markers to colour the mandala in. So I'm going to stamp the whole mandala. As you can see, look at that, perfect. But I am actually going to cut it down a bit once I've coloured it. So with the ones that I've already coloured, I've tried to do it in a quick way so that you can see that they still look pretty without spending forever on them. So what I did, I just got my pro marker and I just went in like that, and I just did 3 circles with my pens. Using similar colours to the inks that I used. I then coloured the flower in purple. Obviously, you know, a lot of the samples that I've done for the shows, I've taken a lot more time if I've used my alcohol pens, shading, that sort of thing. But you really, you know, you don't have to. And if you're doing it with, what you can do is create a background using your inks and your faux bleaching technique. Dawn did a video the other day where she did shaving foam technique. You can do that. That looks really nice. So now I'm going in like that and coming down with the purple. So I'm going to use this as probably my outer layer. But it's up to you really to make them as detailed or not as you choose. Like that. Make the tip of the flower pink. And you think, oh well, it looks a bit messy. But once it's cut down, like that. So I'm going to get my scissors now going to cut into that. And they all look so, you know, we've all had the same images, but once you colour them and cut into them, etc., they all look so different. They're just amazing. And once you start adding glitters and jewels, you know, they look even nicer. But you can make them masculine, you know. Just missed a few bits of those out, so I'll just colour those in. But they look, so there's the three mandalas coloured up. So I'll get my card now, and I'm going to tie it together now, so you can see it ties just like that. And it's up to you whether you want the bow at the back, at the side, you know, wherever. You might have a design that you want to put on there and have the bow and make the bow part of the feature of the card. For this, I'm going to put it to the back. So I'm just going to stick, I've just got some 3D foam. Obviously you take a little bit more time than this. I'm just doing it for speed. So I'm just going to stick my mandala on. I'm going to stick a small one down here. Like that. Add as many layers as you want. Add a character. I'm just going to stick that like that. So there you have the 3 different sizes. And then with the stamps, you also get the sentiments. So you've got the bolder sentiments, and you've got the more ticker tape type white sentiments. But for this one, I'm going to use a bold sentiment. And I have cut a circle of card somewhere. And now I can't find it, obviously. So what I'll do is I'll just stamp it on a piece of card, and I will actually just cut it out by hand. But I would normally use a die. I did actually die cut a circle. It's ready. But so I'm just going to ink up the sentiment stamp. Place it on my card. I use VersaFine for sentiments because I find it gives a much crisper. And there you go, upside down. But look at that, that's stamped beautifully. So I'm just going to, as I say, I would normally use a circular, either a punch or a die. I did already have it die cut out, but anyway, it's not my evening tonight. Everything's gone wrong. So there's your sentiment. I'm going to put some double-sided foam onto that, and I'm going to stick that in the centre there. On the card that I did for the advert, I then added some jewels, and wow, we have got some amazing new jewels coming. I don't know whether you can see that in my hand. Pinks, purples, greens, beautiful. So I think I'm going to use this the more paler purple, lilac should I say. Put that on. Now they're all falling off, going everywhere. So it's not my evening, is it, tonight? Just move them. Oh, I've put them back in now, haven't I? Oh dear.